Creation, and here's what's cooking tonight. We are going to make some manicotti, and I'm going to make the sauce in my Little Mama. We're going to use the Little Mama today because we don't need the big boy. He was busy yesterday. He had to cook for a potluck yesterday, and we don't need the baby because I need a bigger size than the baby. So we're going to use Little Mama today. She always gets used. And what we're going to do today is the main thing that I'm going to do, the one thing that I love about my Instapot is how it cooks hamburger meat. If you have not tried cooking hamburger meat in your Instapot, oh, you got to. It is the best way to cook hamburger meat, and you do it frozen. Frozen. I love how it cooks when it's frozen. And so I'm going to show you that. Now this can be done on a stovetop. If you don't have an Instapot, this can be done on a stovetop. You just make your sauce the same way, just using a frying pan on the stove, because a lot of it will, like I had to boil the manicotti noodles on the stove, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for baking. So really the main reason why I'm using the Instapot is because of the way that it cooks the hamburger meat and the Italian sausage that I'm going to cook together. And you'll see at the end why I love it if you don't already know the secret to cooking hamburger meat in your Instapot. So let's get started. Here you go. Now, because I don't want my meat in the water, of course, you know, when we pressure cook, we have to use water. I'm going to put 2 trivets in there. This is my baby's trivet, but it's okay because it can share with Little Mama. And then I'm gonna use this trivet right here. And I really don't like these because when you cook them with meat, they get all greasy and they take a lot of extra washing, but it's what I have, so it's what I'm gonna use. Okay, so I put these 2 trivets in here, and I'm gonna turn this down now so y'all can see the Little Mama start to work. Okay, so I'm gonna put these 2 in here like this, and then I'm going to put my water, and I don't season them yet, and you'll see why in a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna take my hamburger, and these are still frozen. You may not be able to tell, but it's still frozen. And I'm just gonna kind of sit it up like that, right there. And then this Italian sausage right here is still kind of frozen. Now I know y'all are saying, what, manicotti with meat? I know, but look, it's my recipe, so we'll do it my way, right? So I know we like the noodles with the meat in it. So, all right, so there you go. I'm not gonna season it. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna stick it in here frozen, and I'm going to let it do its thing. So I'm going to put my, let me get a paper towel real quick. I should have put it next to me. I don't like touching raw meat and then touching something else. Okay, so now make sure that when you're doing your Instapot that you have your seal on there, okay? It's got to be on there correctly. And then you go ahead and you put it on. Now, this is a Dual Nova, and I don't have to set my thing to venting or sealing because it is automatic. So I don't have to do it on my Little Mama, which I'm glad because I use Little Mama more than I use anything. And so I'm going to go ahead and get it clipped. I'm going to turn it on pressure cook, and I'm going to turn it down to 25 minutes because it's all I need is 25 minutes. And then I'm going to let this baby do its beautiful magic. And when you see, if you don't already know the secret to cooking frozen hamburger meat, oh, it will change your world. I'm telling you, it is the best way to cook hamburger meat. So I will show you that in 25 minutes. We'll be right back. All right, so here we go. Are you ready to see the wonderfulness I've been talking about cooking hamburger meat? So incredible. Love, love, love it. And I think you will too. At least I hope you will. So here you go. Let's go ahead, and I depressurized it already because I just didn't think you needed to see that. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. Ooh, let me turn this down so you don't miss a thing. All right. So it might have a little steam. So woohoo! There you go. Now, The thing about cooking the hamburger meat, especially frozen, it will not work unless it's frozen. You take, it comes out like this right here. And guess what? All the oils and greases are drained out of it. You see some steam in there, but woohoo, looky there. And then, oh, the sausage doesn't look ready. I mean, the hamburger meat doesn't look ready, but that's okay because it'll finish cooking in a minute. And see, it's gonna stay in the solid form. You have to break it up because it's tough. It's a tough piece of meat right now. But look at this. Take a look inside of this. Let's see if I can get you to look inside. Look at that. Can you see that? All the oils, all the fat, all the yuck is in there. And you don't have to drain your hamburger meat. You don't do anything. And it's just easy peasy, cheesy weezy. I love it. And it just, oh my gosh, it's so good. So that's all we will do in the Little Mama. The rest will be in the oven. So I'm gonna move Little Mama out of the way. And we are going to finish this baby up. So what I do is just kind of break it up. I got this thing and I don't know that I like it. I don't know, can y'all see that? Oh man, it smells so good. I mean, you can use a fork, you can use whatever you want. I just like using this little hamburger chopper because it, for the most of the time, it just seemed like it works, but all right, so you want to make sure that you get it all mixed up right here. Now I'm going to season it because, and if it's a little raw, that's okay because I'm going to stick it in the oven and finish cooking it. So I'm not concerned. Now, if it was real raw, I would stick it back in there. But a little raw, that's okay because it'll go back in the oven and finish cooking. Alrighty, so whatever you use to ground your meat up, there's this other tool that I want, but I can't think of what it is. And it does a phenomenal job at breaking up the hamburger meat. But, you know, this is, oh, I guess I got this at Walmart. I don't think I got it at Dollar Tree. I try not to buy the Dollar Tree utensils because I just don't trust them. Don't know what the chemicals they are. So anyways, even though they're $1, but all right, so here we go. Our hamburger meat is all done up. So now I'm just going to put some, oh, I didn't bring my salt over here. I bet I left it at the church. Just put some garlic salt in that. Some good old fresh cracked pepper. If I can get it open. Sometimes my hands don't want to work right. Man, I wish there was smell-o-vision so that way you could smell how delicious this is. And then a little bit of Italian seasonings. Now, I'm not fancy here or anything. I used to be once upon a time where I made my own sauce. Took me 8 hours, blah, blah, blah. But now we just do it out of a can, a jar, whatever, however works for us to get it quickly done. Let me see if I can find my salt. I probably, oh, I'm so bad. My salt was right in front of me. All right, so just a little bit of salt. Come on. Or a lot of bit of salt in my case. Mix it up real good. And man, I wish you could smell it. It smells so good, 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 good. Some good stuff. I just love the way the food smells when it comes out of the Instant Pot. It just smells so wonderful. All right, so now I'm going to put just a little bit of, let me shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, just a little bit. Make sure we get all the flavors going on. Pour just a little bit. I don't want a whole lot in there, just a little bit. At least half the jar. And I'm gonna mix it up. All right. And so as far as my meat goes, that's it. I'm kind of done with it. Now I'm going to take my ricotta. Now, I know, let's have a talk for a second. Okay, I know that a lot of people say ricotta cheese and cottage cheese are the same thing. No, 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 they're not. And sometimes people will substitute cottage cheese for ricotta cheese, which is fine and well if you want to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But ricotta cheese and cottage cheese do not taste the same. And, well, at least to me, they don't. And they don't do the same function. They just don't, I don't know. I'm going to use ricotta cheese because I just love ricotta cheese. Cottage cheese is incredible. I'm not a cottage cheese hater. Oh, love cottage cheese, but not in my Italian dishes. In my Italian dishes, it is going to be ricotta cheese. Okay, or mascarpone. Desserts are off the chart with mascarpone. Ah, don't get me started on mascarpone because I love mascarpone. And I know that's not how you say it, but that's okay. Anyways, because we're a family of 4 and I don't need a lot, I just use this small little thing of ricotta. Just a small little generic thing of ricotta cheese. And here we go, voila, look at that beautiful ricotta. It looks nothing like cottage cheese. But if you want to use cottage cheese, go right ahead. That's your prerogative to do so. All right, so now I've got my ricotta in here, and I'm going to pour me some Italian cheese mix. Mozzarella, it's just a generic old bag of Walmart Italian cheese mix, 5 cheeses. Yum, yum, yum. And I'm going to mix that up in here. Mix it all together. Now, there's usually more ricotta cheese in that little container, but I have a finicky eater who doesn't care to have the meat sauce. What? Really? She just wants the cheese stuff without the meat. What's up with that? Anyways, so I had to take out some ricotta cheese just for her because she's the grand princess and yes, she's spoiled. Okay, so you do get a more ricotta cheese than that in the little container. All right, so I'm gonna pour just a tad bit, not a lot, just a tad bit. I want it running so that way I can mix it with, and you can mix it together, which I will probably do just because I'm lazy that way and I don't want to stuff 2 different things, and plus it's easier, but I'm going to stir it separately. So for my cheese mixture, I'm going to put some good old Italian seasonings in there. Just some good old Italian seasonings there. And of course, you got to put crushed peppers and everything. There's just, ooh, love crushed peppers. All right. Then just a tad bit of salt. Not a lot because I've already salted enough, but all right, just enough. I guess I wanted to waste more than I wanted to use it. All right. And then of course, got to have the garlic in there. And then I'm just going to stir that up. And I think I'm going to add just a little bit more mozzarella. I had about a cup and a half in that little bowl, but I think I'm going to make it 2 just because I think it needs it. All right, so, and that's basically it. Now what I'm going to do is take this mixture and pour it in my meat. So let's turn it down so you can see what it looks like. I'm gonna take this and just, there you go. Now I'm sure this is not the authentic way to make manicotti, but this is how we make it in this house. So we do the cooking and, well, I do the cooking. And so I kind of do it my way. All right, so then I'm just gonna mix this up right here. Mix this deliciousness up right here, right here, right here. Okay, so now let's talk about noodles. The trick to doing manicotti noodles, because if you boil them too long, oh, they're really difficult to stuff. And I think I boiled mine just a little bit too long because they're really, really soft. They're not as hard as I wanted them to be. But that's life, right? So we're gonna make it work. It just happens. But now how I do my manicotti noodles is I will start my pot of water and I get it to boiling. I get my pot to boiling. And then once the water is boiling and it's going good, then I'll stick my manicotti shells in there. And I'll let them boil for like 2 minutes that way, and then I turn it off and I'll cover the lid and I'll let them sit in there for a couple of minutes. If you let them sit in there like I did, like 10 minutes, they're gonna get really soft. So you want them a little al dente because you want to be able to stuff them. And you're going to put them in the oven, so that will finish cooking them, because you're gonna put sauce and stuff in them, and that will, you know, help them finish cooking. So if you cook them all the way through, they are going to tear on you and they are going to be harder to stuff. So you might see me struggle here with a little bit of an epic fail because I did cook them just a tad bit too long. So let's go ahead and get them. Now, I've got my mixture right here, and some of the stuff in the sink. I've got my pot right here. All right. And then let me put this down so you guys can look at this and not me. Okay, so I'm going to, I can handle it now because I've let them cool, and I put some sauce in the little container right here, and there you go. Now I'm only gonna stuff 1 or 2 because you get the idea, and I don't want to make this like a long drawn out thing. But you just take your shells right here, and then you just stick it in there. Just stick it in there, just like that. And remember, don't cook your shells all the way, because you can tell where that one's starting to rip because I did cook it too long. And just, you know, stuff both ends, just like that. And then stick it in there, and you can kind of push it because there's not going to be any in the filling. You want to kind of push it in because you want the filling in the center. If you want to use your fingers, you can use your fingers. My hands are clean. Sometimes that's easier because I can really get it in there. And so, but just make sure you have clean hands when you do that. And see, it gets in the center. I'm just gonna fill this one a little bit more because that fork wasn't just doing it for me. I was trying to be a little bit etiquette, but all right. So you can tell because my noodle is ripped. I did cook them too long, but that's all right. It's nothing but a thing. It'll work. But that's what happens when you cook them too long. They do rip on you. So you kind of just want to make sure that you keep them a little al dente. So that way they don't lose their shape. And I said I was only going to do a few, but hey, now my hands are messy. I can't turn it off. So just bear with me. We'll get them all done here real quick. And now there's going to be like some meat mixture left over, and that's okay because I'll put that on top. And basically it's almost like a lasagna, except for you don't have the noodle layers as much like in the lasagna. And I think that's why we like the manicotti better, is because you get the same flavors, because I do my lasagna the same way with the same mixture. But you just don't get a lot of pasta. You get more of the fillings. So that's kind of why I like to make the manicotti more than I make the lasagna, just because it's the same flavors, but you get just a little. And this is Sherry's way of making manicotti. I think manicotti typically does not have meat in it. I think it's just a cheese. Ooh, there we go. I got to save those last 2. I'm glad I said that. I got to save those last 2 for the Grand Princess and her cheesy ones. But, and that's all you do. And then I'm going to put hers in a smaller container, so that way I have a smaller one of these, and I'm just going to put hers in a smaller. Let me wash my hands real quick. And then I'll put there you go. And then I will just put a little bit of sauce over, just like that. And then a little bit of meat, just like that. Nothing too fancy smancy. We just want to get some good old meat mixture in there. And then a little bit of sauce. And then spread it around. And to me, it's easier just to do it with my hands because then I can kind of make sure that it's all over. Just make sure you have clean hands. And then rinse them out. And I have a lid. So I will cover them and voila! It'll go in the oven just like this for about 15 minutes and we're done. Oh, forgot something. Can't go without more cheese. So put a little cheese on them and let that get nice and warm and finish cooking. And I'll probably leave it in there for 10-15 minutes at the tops, but go by what your oven, you know, all ovens are not equally the same. So go by what, you know your oven, how to work. With mine, I have an induction and it doesn't take that long. So I'm gonna go 10-15 at the tops. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a delicious meal at your house tonight. Thanks for watching.